This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on March 31st, 2017. Our time is 8:47 Mountain. Radio show runs on 6:30 CHED in Edmonton, Sunday afternoon at 3. The Oilers are in the playoffs, and if our show moves around at all due to Oiler playoff hockey, we will let you know. Don't forget, if you ever miss a show, they're archived on Harold's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HESradio.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find us there. We're portable. We go on any of your devices. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. Our featured diamond of the week, and we'll talk about diamonds in the second half of the show, as that pink star is for sale next week at auction. Our diamond is a .34 carat round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. It is gorgeous. See it online. Featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The news of the week. Well, they finally went ahead and signed the papers. The UK triggered the Brexit, and they will start negotiating with the EU to leave the European Union. The European Union wants it to take a year. I guess we'll wait and see how it all plays out. They have supposedly 2 years to get this done. Also, we are finishing off the first quarter of 2017. The S&P TSX gained 1.9% in the first quarter. Energy shares down 6.4%. The TSX was number 83 in the world overall for stock markets, and that is in Canadian dollars. The S&P 500 was up almost 6% in the first quarter of 2017. Get our free weekly newsletter. Connect with Harold. We obviously do our radio show, and all the material that we talk about is in our free weekly newsletter. We send it out via email free of charge. If you'd like to receive it, call 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, the website in our newsletter. Ex-Goldman Sachs Asian Vice Chair Ken Curtis said on the Canadian Business Network, BNN, he sees the loonie sagging into the mid-60s and below against the U.S. dollar over the next 18 months. And Harold has been calling for that over the last couple of years. And you can get that information in our free weekly newsletter. Before we get to Harold's commentary, we want to congratulate the Siegel family on a new addition, a new arrival into the Siegel world is coming Miss Trixie. And Harold, give us an update on your new beautiful little pet.
Oh, thank you so much, Randy. Well, a lot of my clients know that we lost both of our dogs in the last year. We had Chihuahuas, actually. And this weekend, or last night, actually, we got a beautiful toy Australian Shepherd. She only weighs 3 pounds, most beautiful little dog, and we're going to give her a beautiful home. So thanks, Randy, very much. She's a beauty, and we'll be loving her up a lot. So anyways, the markets this week were basically trading in a range, but basically doing what we thought that they were going to do. The dollar backed off because, a lot of the move that was built into the dollar was built in prior to the interest rate hike that we saw the week before. So all in all, the U.S. dollar is back over par. But what Randy said this morning at the beginning of the show is extremely important. The currency markets are probably the most important markets that we need to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And most people don't understand the currency markets, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn about them and understand the potential and how they can make you an awful lot of money. We talked about Brexit, and Brexit was a phenomenon that happened last year where Britain is going to leave the European Union. And basically when they took the vote on that, and nobody knew exactly which way the vote was going to go, But when they voted for Britain to leave the European Union, their currency, the British pound sterling, dropped 25% in 1 hour. That means that everybody that had money in British pounds lost 25% of its value in 1 hour. That's extreme, to think that something happened that had absolutely nothing to do with you, and you just lost 25% of your net worth if your net worth was all in British pounds. Now, being Canadians, are we in a much different situation? No, we're not, because it wasn't that long ago that the Canadian dollar and the American dollar were even. And now at this point, we have the Canadian dollar substantially lower than the U.S. dollar. In fact, it would cost you right now $1,350 to buy $1,000 worth of American money. So $1,350 Canadian will buy you $1,000 American. Within the next year and a half to 2 years, we anticipate that the U.S. dollar is going to get substantially stronger and the Canadian dollar is going to continue to weaken. So we feel that if the Canadian dollar goes down to, let's say, 60 cents and the U.S. dollar goes to the 115 level, there's basically a 50% difference between the U.S. and Canadian dollars. Now, that's going to mean that you're going to spend about $2,000 to buy $1,000 worth of American money. So what it's going to do, it will stop some people from traveling. You'll find that as the U.S. dollar gets stronger and stronger, Europeans, for example, may not be able to afford to travel to the United States as often because their currency, which used to be way more than the U.S. dollar, is now worth considerably less. And now that's the same scenario for Canada. As the Canadian dollar gets weaker and weaker and the U.S. dollar gets stronger and stronger, it means that a lot of Canadians will not be able to purchase American products in American dollars or travel to the United States because the currency conversion is way too extreme. Now, what you may not understand or may not have thought about is how in the world, if the spread between the Canadian and the American dollar is going to be so substantial, possibly 50%, how do you make money on that? Well, that's exactly what we've been saying for the last 5 years. Let us show you how to get out of Canadian dollar-based investments and into U.S. dollar-based investments. Our investments pay around 24-25% a year in U.S. dollars. That means that a lot of our clients at this point, once they convert their currencies, are making, in essence, close to 50-60% return on their money because of the currency and the returns on our private investments. So at this particular point, there's still room for you to get involved and get into Canadian, U.S. dollar-based investments. We're not talking about buying stocks or bonds or buying anything paper. What we're talking about is being involved in my business as a private investor, and we'll allow you to trade with us and be partners with us. And you'll get the same returns that we're seeing, and you're going to get your returns in American dollars. Let me also say this. We've been brainwashed to believe that by putting your money in a retirement savings plan is a good idea and it's going to cement your retirement. We all know that that's 100% false. Nobody's made money in their retirement savings plans in over a decade in Canada, and you won't. Because the fact is that with the fact that there's very few investments that you can put your money into that aren't extremely risky or that just don't return anything. For example, 90% of people that trade stocks lose their money. 90% of people that trade commodities on their own lose their money. So why in the world would you want to put your money in that area? Keeping your money in the bank is not going to help you because you're getting 0.5%. In actual fact, you're losing money by keeping your money in the bank because with inflation and currency and taxes and everything like that, and only getting 0.5% return, there's no way in the world that you're going to be able to retire. So if you don't do something at this particular point, you're going to miss out on one of the greatest opportunities to make an awful lot of money, and you're going to be sitting in a currency that is going to do absolutely nothing for you. please, I beg you to give me a call so I can explain to you in layman's terms how these investments work. They're not difficult to understand in any way. All you need to do is pick up the phone and make the phone call, because if you just sit there and let this currency market continue to do what it's doing, you're not going to survive this nicely. Your currency is going to drop, you're going to have no buying power, and you'll have no investments that are making you any money. We'll end up working till we're 70, 80 years old. So give me a call and let me explain to you how to get out of Canadian dollar-based investments, even including your retirement savings plans, and going into an investment that will return over 25% a year to you and in U.S. dollars. Also, at this particular point, what normally happens in the marketplace is that when you have a very strong U.S. dollar, like we're getting to at this point, the gold normally drops substantially. We've seen that happen many, many times. But there is the odd occurrence that can change. And we may be looking at that situation at this particular point, because even though the U.S. dollar is extremely strong, and there's a direct correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar, when the U.S. dollar is strong, gold is weak, and vice versa. However, at this point, we've got a dollar that's getting stronger, and we've got a gold market that is not falling at this point. In all reality, with a strong U.S. dollar, the gold market should drop down to $1,000 or lower, but I doubt that we're going to see that at this point, because there's other factors in the market at this point that could be supporting the price of gold, and one of them is the presidency in the United States. People are very, very nervous about what's happening in the United States, and the thing that concerns me, and why I'm saying that gold could literally still be a good investment with a strong U.S. dollar, is the fact that Trump is a bully, and Trump is going to cause a problem, and it's more than likely going to be with North Korea. And that's an area that I really personally wouldn't want to see happening. Because the fact is that North Korea does have nuclear weapons, and North Korea is a loose cannon, and the fact is that Trump is not the type of person that backs down from anything. So that's an area of concern for me, and what is going to happen in the near future is that gold and the U.S. dollar could literally move at the same time. And if that's what the scenario is going to be, we have you covered on that. So we do have a gold program coming up that is going to allow you to buy physical gold from my company, and on every transaction, there's a bid and an ask price. You always buy at the ask and sell at the bid. What's going to happen with us, you're going to be able to buy at the bid and sell at the bid. There's not going to be any spread. There's not going to be any commission. We'll store the gold for you with no cost to yourself, and then on top of that, I will trade the gold market for you. I'm known as one of the best gold traders. I'm the one that called the gold market when nobody else did, the biggest bull market of all times. I've been involved in the two biggest bull markets in gold in history, from 1975 to 1980, and then from 2000 up to 2011, and I'm the one that called that gold market before anybody did. So I will literally trade gold for my clients at no commission or no percentage of profit, whatever you make goes directly to you. That program is coming up very, very quickly, so if you'd like information on that, start getting in touch with me, and as soon as that is ready, which will be very, very soon, then we're going to make that available to our clients. Just to reiterate, you're going to be able to buy gold at the bid price, not at the ask, at the bid. You're going to not pay a commission. We'll store the gold for you at no cost to yourself, and if you want, I will trade the gold for you at no commission. My only goal is for my Canadian clients to make a lot of money. We made a ton of money in the last bull market. It was the biggest bull market of all time in gold and silver, and we caught it from the start to the finish, and we intend on doing that again. It's trends that make you all the money. The trend in the currency market that we're in right now is making our clients a fortune. The trend in metals from 250 to 1900 was the biggest bull market of all time, and we caught every penny of that move. So, again, I'm extremely excited that we're living in a world right now that is so full of controversy and so much volatility and speculation and nobody really knowing what to do. We're going to have negative interest rates. Nobody will be able to retire if they don't do something positive at this particular point. You don't want to go into stocks because you're going to lose. You don't want to trade commodities on your own because you're going to lose. The fact is that there are other opportunities out there. So give us a call and let us help you. Again, it's not all about my company being the next Berkshire Hathaway. Not that type of person. My company is valuable because my clients are making money. And the fact is that we do the right thing. We put our clients into the right investments, the same investments that we're investing in ourselves. We've been doing this for 35 years now, and it's been my Canadian clients that have been with me every step of the way. We're not going to stop now. In fact, the best is right ahead of us, and all we have to do is reach out and grab us. So give me a call. Let me explain how our programs work. You're able to make 25% a year. In U.S. money, and sometimes more than that. On top of that, we have our gold deal coming up. The markets are getting more volatile, which, again, is a good thing. You don't want a stagnant market. And, again, we're right on top of everything happening between currencies and metals. I think the opportunity for us to make a ton of money for our clients is sitting right in front of us.
On the last show, we really stressed, if you've been listening to our radio program for a long period of time, we're starting to see a lot of you picking up the phone and calling Harold. And we're very happy about that. Harold spent a lot of his week speaking with many of our radio listeners. Now, whether you've been listening to one or two shows, or you've been listening for 10 to 15 years, pick up the phone. Don't delay. The opportunities that are presenting themselves right now are not going to last forever. Whether it be the programs that Harold has, or even pink diamonds from the Argyle mine. We'll talk about that in the second half of the show. Mark this number down, 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. That is the number to call. It's free, and anything you discuss with Harold is 100% confidential. And Harold has been speaking with so many radio listeners here in the last few months that it's been very gratifying to hear all the positive comments, and finally people who have been sitting on the fence waiting for a long period of time are taking action and speaking with Harold and finding out exactly how they can start making money today. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Telephone number 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. Our featured diamond of the week. See it at RareColoredDiamonds.com. Featured diamond is a .34 carat, round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink Argyle. In the second half of the show, we'll talk about the Pink Star, which is coming up for auction next week. They believe it could sell for $60 million. That's right, $60 million. And keep listening for that story in the second half of the show. And if you are not getting our free weekly newsletter, it is a must. You can go through it in 5 minutes, be completely up to date on financial and geopolitical news, or you can spend hours delving into all the stories. But the top story this week, ex-Goldman Sachs Asian Vice Chair Ken Curtis, and now he is the chairman of Starfort Investment Holdings, said on BNN, Canadian Business Network News, that he sees the loonie sagging into the mid-60s and below against the U.S. dollar over the next 18 months. If you would like to see his comments, we'll be happy to send out that free weekly newsletter to you. One of the stories out of the United States, obviously, they didn't get a health care deal yet, and they're still behind the scenes trying to work on it. Donald Trump supposedly moving on to taxes, and one of the big concerns is the debt in the United States. The U.S. debt is going to double over the next 30 years. You heard right, 30 years, according to the CBO, Congressional Budget Office. Now, the United States is currently $20 trillion in debt. Consider U.S. President Trump's push for big tax cuts and a promise not to touch key drivers of the debt, the picture could even be worse. Right now, the U.S. debt amounts to 77% of GDP. That's already the highest level since the post-World War II era. Now, if current law remains in effect, on track to, basically, it's hard to believe, but it's on track to jump to 150% by 2047. According to the latest long-term budget projections from the CBO. The problem is that, both spending and revenue are projected to grow. Spending will far outpace revenue. The northward trajectory of spending is driven exclusively by two things in the United States. Spending on the biggest entitlement programs, primarily Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and interest on the debt. And of course, the United States has been raising interest rates. That means that they're going to be paying more interest on their debt. The major entitlement programs, which they fall under the category of mandatory spending because the levels are determined by formulas and number of beneficiaries, accounts for 10.4% of GDP today. By 2014, the CBO projects that it could grow to 15.5% a year. The president said many times, and his surrogates have repeated his promise, that he would not touch Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security. Interest on the debt, meanwhile, will almost quadruple from 1.4% today to 6.2% by 2047. That's due to rise, obviously, because of interest rates going up and the growing pile of borrowed money. So in the United States, obviously, they're doing the best out of any country around the world right now. They have a strong comeback. But it's one thing to keep in mind that and Canada is in the same boat. Obviously, here in Alberta, we're racking up debt. It is a concern. And the federal government, they have plans to rack up debt, and there's really no end in sight to it. So the debt bubble that is building around the world is a concern not only in Canada, the United States, and when they go to raise interest rates in Canada at some point, we will feel the pain that they're going to start feeling in the United States. And that's something that you should keep in mind. In our free weekly newsletter, a Swedish billionaire just sold his entire stock portfolio. He says there's a major crash coming. He's one of Sweden's most prominent investors, Rune Anderson. He's gotten out of the stock market. He's worth $1 billion. He's very concerned about the overvalued nature of the market at this point. If you would like to pick Harold Siegel's brain about the stock market, Bill C-15, if you haven't heard anything about Bill C-15 here in Canada as a Canadian investor, let Harold educate you. Bank bail-in, something you should know about. Negative interest rates, weak Canadian dollar, housing crash in Vancouver and Toronto, oil prices, geopolitical trouble, cashless society, lots of financial questions today, and you, I know, are looking for answers because you want to invest today so you can retire tomorrow, and that's the whole point of our radio show, through the radio show and our newsletter, to help educate you and help you make money today. Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the second half of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on March 31st, 2017. Our time is 9/11 Mountain. A radio show runs Sunday afternoon at 3 on 630 CHED. Keep in mind, with the Oilers in the playoffs, our show may bounce around a little bit, but we will keep you up to date on time changes. And don't forget, if you ever miss a radio show, they're archived on Harold's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HES Radio.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on radio. We're portable. We go on any of your portable devices, and I know podcasts are so popular right now, and our show has been podcasted for many years. Connect with Harold Siegel. Find out why now is the time to pick up the phone and find out about making money in your portfolio today. Profit and protect the money that you have. If you've listened to us for a long period of time, do not delay. The opportunities that present themselves today will not be here forever. The telephone number, 1-800-432-1022. Write it down. Give Harold a call, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. And really, what was our top story for the week? And you can find this in our free weekly newsletter. Ex-Goldman Sachs Asia Vice Chair Ken Curtis, and he is the chairman of Starford Investment Holdings, said on the Canadian Business Channel he sees the loonie sagging into the mid-60s. We're at 75 right now today, right around 75. Mid-60s and below against the U.S. dollar over the next 18 months. And Harold has been calling for that for the last couple of years. I know Jared Dillian is somebody we've talked about in the past, calling for that as well. If you'd like to learn more about how you can take advantage of the Canadian dollar going down, U.S. dollar going up, speak with Harold about the programs he has in place where you can get paid in U.S. dollars, transfer some of your Canadian into U.S., get paid in U.S. dollars. 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week is a .34 carat, round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. The Argyle mine produces 90 to 95% of the world's pink diamonds. 2 years left, and that mine is exhausted. Here's a stat. In 244 years of auctions, only 18 pink diamonds of more than 10 carats, 2 grams, have come up for sale. That according to Christie's. And next week, the date is actually April the 4th. In Hong Kong, Sotheby's is putting up for auction the Pink Star, the most valuable cut diamond ever offered at auction, estimated at over $60 million. And the Pink Star is one we'll be watching next week at Sotheby's in Hong Kong on April the 4th. Currently, the record holder for selling an auction is the Oppenheimer Blue, which sold for $57.5 million at Christie's in Geneva last May. But Harold, we look forward to the Big Pink coming up and being sold, the Pink Star. But you don't have to be a billionaire or millionaire to be involved in this market.
No, you don't. But the fact is that Pink Star is, what a diamond. I mean, absolutely amazing. And at $60 million, I think the diamond personally is worth way more than that. So I doubt that we will ever see another diamond like that. And what you're saying about the Argyle mine is 100% true. For those that don't know, 95% of pink diamonds come from one mine. It's in Western Australia, and it's called the Argyle mine. And it produces 95% of the world's pink diamonds. And don't think that there's a lot of them. There's not. It's a tiny, tiny market. In fact, the Argyle Tender, which is the major diamond event every year, if they take the top diamonds from the Argyle mine and put them into a champagne glass, it doesn't even fill the champagne glass. That's how small the diamond market is. But these diamonds are known as the most concentrated form of wealth on earth. They are spectacular. They are as beautiful as the picture is, and this week's featured diamond is a 34-point oval, fancy purplish pink argyle. It is absolutely stunning, and it looks like it's almost a carat. It's a big, beautiful diamond. 95% of argyle pinks are under a quarter carat. This is over a third of a carat. So, again, that's where it comes to the most concentrated of wealth on earth, because these are not huge diamonds. that they are extremely valuable, and once this mine closes, we anticipate that the price of the diamonds from the Argyle mine will go up substantially, depending on the color, depending on the size, and depending on how deep the color is, will determine the value of that diamond. But just picture this, that this is the only time that this will ever happen. There is not another mine in existence that does what the Argyle mine does, produce 95% of any given diamond. So once this mine closes, we'll get a small smattering of pink diamonds maybe every 4 or 5 years. We'll see one come onto the market, but no more will we see diamonds coming out of the Argyle mine, and that's going to be a real shame. Because, again, these diamonds are breathtaking. They're magnificent diamonds, but there will be no more, and this will be our only opportunity to ever do something like this, where we can actually own a diamond that will basically become extinct. So, again, a phenomenal investment will do nothing but go up in value, and we're very, very excited about the opportunity to offer these type of diamonds to our clients.
I went back and I found a story about pink diamonds, and I wanted to remind people about pink diamonds, and also for those that may have not seen it, I wanted you to get a chance to look at it. It's called the Great Pink Diamond, and we put it in our free weekly newsletter. Get our newsletter from Harold, 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Now, in that story, they have a picture, as Harold touched on, of a champagne flute, and it's filled about 3/4 full of Argyle pink diamonds. And that is basically roughly the tender for one of the years that took place a few years ago. The story is from a few years ago, but it is a must-read because it is so well done. And I want you to see this picture of the champagne flute with the pink diamonds. That's the tender, and it's hard to believe. For everyone on the planet Earth, those are the pink diamonds for 1 year. And once they come to an end, as Harold was saying, that is it. And we had a story from the BBC a few weeks back where they do not know why pink diamonds turn pink. They've done extensive testing. They do not know, and they've done testing with all sorts of different machines, and they've had top scientists look at it. They do not know exactly why pink diamonds get their pink color. But we do have a story this week, how diamonds get their color. And it goes through white diamonds, yellow diamonds, colored diamonds like blue, and pink, red, and others. And they do mention in here that they do not know why pink diamonds are pink. And I think that even adds to the luster of investing in pink diamonds, not only the rarity and the scarcity, but there's no real answer as to why they get these amazing pink diamonds that are billions of years in the making due to Mother Nature out of nature's art, our Earth, and reveal themselves to us and become like miniature Picassos because they are so rare. But take a look at that story that includes the photograph. Harold, this is something I wanted to bring back because there are people listening for the first time who have not seen the photo of the pink diamonds in the champagne flute, and it blows you away to realize that is it for the planet for 1 year when it came to the tender a few years ago, and that tender is going to wind down in the next few years.
You better believe it. And again, if you're one of the very few to own one of these diamonds, you've got something very, very special. And the longer you hold them, the more and more valuable they become. Again, if you don't need the money, you put these away for the long term. They're phenomenal for retirement, but also for the kids. I put diamonds away for my grandchildren and for my children, where I never would buy them stocks or bonds or anything made of paper. I would buy them a pink Argyle diamond. And by the way, as Randy said at the beginning of the show, you don't need to be a billionaire or a multimillionaire to invest in these diamonds. You can get started owning Argyle pinks for under $50,000. And again, these diamonds over time can really increase tremendously. You're going to own something that will basically be extinct, that we won't see anymore, and that in itself is a reason to own these. But you're talking about the most beautiful assets on Earth. You know, white diamonds are white diamonds. They're compressed carbon. They come up from the ground and through volcanic eruption, and that's, you know, and then we mine them as rough diamonds, then we cut and polish them, and then they're sold to the jewelry trade. But if nitrogen seeps into the ground, it can turn the diamond yellow, or it could even turn the diamond orange, which is extremely rare. If there's boron in the ground, it will turn a diamond blue. If there is uranium in the ground, it can turn the diamond green, and so on. But they don't know exactly what turns a diamond pink or orange. And again, that's another reason why these diamonds become so valuable. So again, it's one of the best investments you could make. Take a look at the featured diamond this week. It's absolutely stunning. And again, these are amongst the best investments that you could make, and they're priced in U.S. dollars.
We're talking about rare colored diamonds, nature's art, billions with a B of years in the making, and they reveal themselves from the Earth's crust. They are like miniature Picassos, Rembrandts. They are so rare. These are not white diamonds. These are rare colored diamonds. Nature's art, private, portable, stable wealth. And if you'd like to learn more, speak with Harold Siegel. Start your own diamond investment portfolio. Receive a free copy of our weekly World Financial Report on Radio newsletter. Connect with Harold. If you have been waiting, you've listened to the show for a long period of time, do not wait any longer. Call Harold. The call is free, 1-800-432-1022. Go to the website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. See our featured diamond, a .34 carat, round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. This diamond is the rarest of the rare, and as I said, in 244 years of auctions, only 18 pink diamonds of more than 10 carats have come up for sale. That according to Christie's. Next week, April the 4th, in Hong Kong, Sotheby's will be offering the pink star. They believe it could go for $60 million. This diamond is the rarest of the rare, and we can't wait for next week to find out exactly who picks up this pink diamond. But now is the time. Do not delay. Harold is taking your calls at 1-800-432-1022. Whether you've been listening to our show for a short period of time or a long period of time, the opportunities that are presenting themselves today for us, whether it be Harold's programs that he has, where you can make money starting today by transferring Canadian into U.S. dollars and being paid, obviously a residual in U.S. dollars, or investing in colored diamonds, rare colored diamonds. These opportunities are not going to be around forever, so we really encourage you to pick up the phone, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And Harold, I know that people are always surprised when they call. They will be speaking with you, and everything that you talk about is 100% confidential, anything discussed with you and the person that calls you.
You better believe it, Randy. Again, I love speaking to clients. I'm trying to direct them in the right way at this point here. You know, to navigate through these particular waters is not easy, but I have the experience. I've been in the business 35 years, and I like to say that I've seen almost all the scenarios that we've been dealing with. We've had tremendous success calling trends in markets. It's not just saying, you know, that a market is going to go up or down. It's a matter of catching that entire trend. That's where the biggest amount of money is made. Not in a day trade or staying in a trade for, you know, for a couple of weeks type of thing. It's being involved in a particular investment that could go on for years and years. Our trade in gold started in 2000 and went to 2011, and it went from $250 to $1,900, the biggest bull market. You know, if you just jumped in and jumped out of the market, you didn't make any money. These are the type of investments that you just want to buy and hold and let the market do its thing. And then we continue to analyze the markets, and we'll definitely let you know what our feeling is on it. But at this particular point, I think we have some tremendous opportunities, not only in the currency markets, which is the biggest opportunity. There's no doubt that the Canadian dollar is going way lower, and there is no doubt that the U.S. dollar is going substantially higher. If we don't take advantage of that, then shame on us. We've got an opportunity to make a fortune of money, and we just can't afford to sit there because this won't happen again that easily. So we've got a great direction. The market's definitely going our way, and we'll continue to do so. Let me help you in that fashion.
And I think Harold brings up a very good point. We all remember in Canada that we saw the TV commercial where somebody was buying a painting at auction, and he buys it and then goes, "Oh, okay, I'd like to sell it now." Well, this is not that type of market when you're investing in rare-colored diamonds. And I think another point, as Harold made, is so important. We started in 2000, gold at $250. It went to 1900 in 2011. And I know a few people have said to me they've listened to our show, and they said, well, yes, but, the Canadian dollar hasn't gone down as much as you said it was going to. This is going to take time. It took 11 years for the full bull market to run in gold, and for the Canadian dollar to go from where it was, roughly par with the U.S. dollar, to where we are today, around 75, and then go down to maybe where we were around the year 2000, 2001, around 62, 63 cents. This does not happen overnight. This is a longer-term trade. It's not something that we're going to wake up after a few weeks and find that, bang, it's immediately happened. You have to have some patience when you're investing in these markets and take a long-term view. Connect with Harold at 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website, and go take a look at our featured diamond this week. It is an investment piece, 0.34 carat, round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. And the Argyle mine is shutting down in 2020. They may have some diamonds in the vault for a few years after that, but then 90 to 95% of the world's pink diamonds will be gone. And we just can't stress enough, these opportunities will be around for a limited time. I remember doing the show with Harold, and it was 5, 6, 7 years ago, and we were talking about the Argyle mine. We knew it was going to be depleted, and here we are, 2 years away from it. And we were talking about it, in 7 years' time and in 5 years' time. Well, here we are, Harold, 2 years away, and there's still an opportunity to get these pink diamonds, but at some point there will be a drop-dead date.
Yes, you're 100% right. So one thing we all know is that time is passing by very, very quickly, and if you don't react to certain situations, they'll pass you by. What Randy said before was also extremely important, is that this is not a short-term bull market, which is a great thing. We don't want to be in a short-term bull market. We want to be in the long-term bull market, which gives us tremendous opportunity and not nearly the stress. So, the fact is that 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when the Canadian and the U.S. dollar were even, from that point, we picked up 25% on the currency. How many of you have made 25% return on any investment over the last few years? So that in itself has been sensational. If it takes another 3 or 4 years for the U.S. dollar to hit its highs and the Canadian dollar to hit its lows, who cares? As long as we're making money on a daily basis. I like to say to my employees, how much money have you made today? If you don't put yourself in a position to make money, you're not going to do it. Please, we've got an opportunity to be very successful at a time when most people don't have a clue what's going on in the financial markets. Give us an opportunity to help you get to where you need to go, because the way things are going at this point, if you stick with conventional investments, you will never retire. Now with 0.5% interest rates and a stock market in Canada that is going absolutely nowhere.
Our featured diamond, a 0.34 carat round, and I love the cut on this diamond. It's beautiful. Round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. see it at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. Now, last week, we offered a 0.29 carat princess cut. So it was a princess cut, a different cut, fancy intense pink argyle. But this one is a little bit different, and we encourage you to go take a look at it. rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. One of the stories that I thought really caught my attention this week, quite sad really, Bill Ackman is a hedge fund manager, and he came out and said, I'm sorry for losing $4 billion on Valiant. Of course, here in Canada, we know all about Valiant Pharmaceuticals International, and he was one of the investors, deeply and profoundly apologized for his investment in Valiant. Huge mistake that cost his firm $4 billion. In his annual letter to investors of his publicly traded Pershing Square Holdings, Ackman in part blamed Valiant's overpaying for a company in 2015, but he was hanging in there and ended up taking a hit to the tune of $4 billion. And that's one of the things that's so great about hard assets, whether it be diamonds, gold, silver, collectible cars, art, even watches, handbags, hard assets. You've got something in your hand, not some piece of paper or computerized record thereof, not some crazy fancy hedge fund. And it's something that's permanent and invulnerable. It's something that you can hold in your hand, and it's portable, private, stable wealth. And as we've said before, you can go out and get a Rolls Royce. You know, the Phantoms, I believe they run around, $500,000 to $1 million or more. You can hold diamonds worth millions of dollars in the palm of your hand. And if you needed to transport that, get out of Dodge, you can do it. You're not going to be able to do that with a Rolls Royce. You can't put a Rolls Royce in the palm of your hand, or even a piece of art like a Picasso or a Rembrandt. This is a very special, concentrated form of wealth, a storehouse of value, and it's better than cash because it's stood the test of time over thousands of years. And even better, you can wear this investment. This is something that obviously you can wear, whether it be on a ring, a pendant, a necklace, whatever you decide to put this investment diamond in, you can wear it, and it's portable, private, stable wealth for the long term. And Harold, that's something that you just don't find in other investments, and we have about 3 minutes left here.
You bet. Again, paper assets can be and are often manipulated. Physical cannot be. So the fact is that you need to be diversified. You all have your own comfort level. A lot of people feel comfortable trading stocks or being in real estate or in bonds or whatever. There's alternative assets, and that's the business that we're in. You just need to have an open mind to learn about new opportunities and see if those opportunities fit within your investment goals. So, again, at this point, there's a lot of confusion out there. The one thing that is very clear is that the currency markets have a true direction, the U.S. dollar up, the Canadian dollar down, and if we don't take advantage of that, then shame on us. We have an opportunity to make a lot of money. I don't want to leave anything on the table.
Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. Pick up the phone, speak with Harold personally and privately. The call is free. Anything discussed is confidential. If you've been waiting to find out how you can make money today, instead of sitting in a GIC earning 1% or less, using the rule of 72, your money would double in 72 years. You will never retire at that rate. Get our free weekly newsletter. Pick up the phone, speak with Harold. 1-800-432-1022 in our newsletter this week. Ex-Goldman Sachs Asia Vice Chair Ken Cordes said on the Canadian Business Channel, and he's the chairman of Starford Investment Holdings, that he sees the loonie sagging into the mid-60s and below against the U.S. dollar over the next 18 months. And you can see that information in our free weekly newsletter. That is something that Harold has maintained for quite some time. We're going to see the Canadian dollar go down and the U.S. dollar appreciate. How can you make money on that trade? call Harold and find out. Our featured diamond this week is a .34 carat round, brilliant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. See it at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. And we can't wait until next week on the 4th of April when the big pink star goes for sale. And we're looking forward to a big, maybe $60-70 million price tag after the auction hammers come down for the final time. Harold, thank you for your knowledge and another great show.
It's my pleasure, Randy. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
We're on every Sunday afternoon at 3. Of course, the Oilers have made the playoffs. We may be moving around a little bit. We'll keep you up to date on that. If you ever miss a radio show, don't forget they're archived at rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HES Radio.